This is Sugdeo Productions. Today I'm going to be taking you behind the scenes so you can meet a food truck in Orlando, Florida called Hapa Halo to learn their story and much more.
My name is Kagan Baker. This is Hapa Halo Street Food. It's a mini K truck in Orlando that sells Filipino and Hawaiian inspired street foods.
And so kind of what's the backstory of what got you into wanting to start a food truck and like what made you enjoy cooking?
So I've been cooking since I was like 14, or not 14, like 7, but in restaurants at 14. My first restaurant ever that I ever worked at, it was a coffee shop, and the owner quit, or the chef quit day of my first day. He quit, yeah. And so the owner came up to me. He was like, "Can you cook eggs?" And ever since then, I've just been hooked, especially in the restaurant industry. There's such fast pace, kind of high stress, high energy environment. Love it. But the actual food truck idea came when I've had like a string of like bad experiences at some other restaurant that I worked at. There's like badly managed, or like severely underpaid, for like what you're doing, and just like they never really cared about your opinion, So that's when. So 3 years ago, my wife told me, "You can do it. You got this. You make good food. You just start a food truck." So I did. It was a old beat up Shasta trailer that we were working out of. So we did that, or we started with a tent, and it was just brutal. Just whether it was sunny outside, raining, it would like beat down on you, like just awful experience. It's so hot out.
Yeah.
One of the first times I had like a really big pop up. It was like 120 degrees. It was like 110 degrees outside.
Damn.
I was in front of a coal charcoal grill.
Yeah.
Outside in this direct sunlight, and everyone else, like my family who was helping me, it was just them under the tent. So everyone else was shaded.
Yeah.
I'm over there sweating super hard, actually cooking. The rest of them are just like putting them on the plate and talking to customers. I was like, this sucks. But then we finally got a trailer. It was the old beat up Shasta trailer. That one had like a ton of issues, but I really loved doing it. You got to bring it around. You got to meet a lot of people. Doing big events was always super fun for me. But then we had like a bunch of like issues, termites and all that other stuff, because it was old.
Yeah.
Then I saw this one, and I was like, there's nothing else I want. It's such a fun little truck. When you look at it, everyone's like, that's a cool truck, or like, it just brings a smile to people's face, which makes my day most of the days.
Yeah. No, it's like it's cute.
Yeah.
Like a small little truck, and it like opens up. It's an open sign. It's just very aesthetically nice to look at too.
That was the main goal whenever we were doing this. After having that old beat up trailer, people were like, "Oh, that's sketchy,"
Yeah.
But the goal for this was to make it as like nice and appealing as possible. Because a lot of people don't put effort into that kind of aspect. My dad was an artist and my mom was a chef, so the art part was never really seen in what I was doing in like restaurants and stuff. But this is giving me a lot of creative freedom. Especially, I designed our logo. I get to design all of our menus, all of our posters that we're doing. It's so much fun. Like scratches part of my brain that I'm like, yeah, this is great.
Wait, so you also an artist?
Yeah.
Oh, that's super sick.
Yeah, so I do some of my own. I do all of my own graphics. So anything you see online is mainly me. I do have one friend who helps me every once in a while because he's in school for graphic design, and he'd be like, no, that's wrong. And I was like, all right. Yeah.
And so, I guess, how did you start Hapa Halo? Like, when you found the truck, how did you end up like making it into a thing where you consistently doing pop-ups? Because you're at like multiple markets like throughout the week.
So we've been doing pop-ups for almost 2-3 years. But it was just like getting to meet people, getting to do those things. A lot of these markets, I just straight up go up to them like, hey, can I be in your market? And they're like, yeah, okay. You just have to like go out there and put yourself out there. I've had a lot of people say no. There's like a lot of no's, but they're like whatever, it's the only thing that matters is the yeses you get at the end of the day. So, but meeting a lot of people, even sometimes we'll just walk up to the food truck. Hey, I have this market. Would you like to join? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So in January, I was working at Create Coffee. I was there for 2 years, which also helped me meet a bunch of people before doing all this. And I got to meet a lot of really cool regulars who came in, who actually do a lot of the same stuff, like do pop-ups or whatever. And then I finally got to move full-time doing this in like the beginning of January. Yeah,
that's interesting because I love Q-Create. Like I've been there a couple times. I know Kylie who works there.
Yeah.
And like the owner, they're super cool.
Yeah. Kylie was one of my favorite coworkers. Kylie and Archer and this other guy, his name was Brogan. Those are my 3 favorite coworkers, bro. Yeah.
What do you love just like about being a food truck the most?
I love getting to meet a bunch of different people. That's probably my favorite part. I do like going to like big events, but whenever I do smaller events, I like to actually get to know the people who I'm serving and see their reactions and actually get to know like who I'm serving. That's probably the best part about it. And seeing people's reactions to the food, which is really nice. Because you don't get to see that in restaurants. You drop it off the table, you walk away, and like you didn't see them.
Yeah, I always thought it was cool when we like first came up, and then you start like torching the chicken like right then and there.
Yeah, that idea came whenever I was like, how can I be interactive with people while in line? Because I know it could be a little bit of a long wait, but you don't go out to eat to get just food. You want to get an experience. So we wanted to make everything in this truck a little bit of an experience for everyone.
What would you say is your favorite dish to make?
My favorite dish to make is the ribeye skewer. I love red meat. It's been slow cooked in butter with salt and a couple of other spices. And then it's gonna get a pineapple chimichurri on top. Okay. I love steak. I've been making, so the first job I ever had was the coffee shop, but I made a chimichurri there. That was one of the first dishes I actually ever got to make because the owner was like, hey, we need a chimichurri on this thing, and look up a recipe and make it. So that was one of the first things I got to make. So I make a pineapple chimichurri that goes on top of the ribeye, and it's probably my favorite dish.
Why is that your favorite dish to make? Is it just kind of from like the first restaurant, the coffee shop, they were like, hey, make this dish? Or do you just feel connected to it because of that?
I just feel connected to that dish because of just the chimichurri on top. It's a really cool sauce that we get to put on there, and I made it my own by adding like pineapple and some other like fresh stuff into that chimichurri. So it kind of like brings me back to where I started and how far I've come.
What kind of like inspired the whole menu though? Because I feel like it is kind of like different when you go down. There's like skewers and there's like spam musubi.
So spam musubi, I just love spam musubi. I've been eating it forever. It's something you just grab quick, you eat it, you walk away. We want to have a bunch of like different little bites for people to get, like kind of like tapas. So that people get to try Filipino and Hawaiian food without having to commit to a whole dinner, sit down kind of style.
What kind of is like the big plan of like Hapa Halo? Do you have like, you want to open a restaurant or?
The big plan is to open a restaurant, but not like a sit down restaurant, where we can have multiple food trucks. That's the big goal, is to have multiple of these little things driving around Orlando for everyone to see.
That'd be super fucking sick if there's just like multiple Hapa Halos.
Yeah.
Like, one food truck that's like everywhere.
Yeah. The goal is to keep it small and local. I hate whenever people franchise and their quality just drops and you're just like, this is not what I used to like. So my goal is to keep it as small as possible while still, growing as a business.
Yeah, I feel like that is something that is kind of like, you like grow more of an attachment to something if it is like local than like chain, because you like go to them and then like,
Foxtail used to be great.
Yeah. We were talking about
that the other day. Yeah. They're not bad. They're not bad. You know, they're still really good. It's just like not as good as when they first started. And there's a bunch of other examples that you can think of, but I want to keep it just local, just for the people of Orlando, and for like a community that we're building.
Are you born in Orlando?
Yeah.
Okay.
I grew up actually off of Park Lake Street. Yeah, so I grew up in like Hunters Creek area, and then we moved to Park Lake Street. But I've been in the Mills area for like 10 years. Yeah.
That's super sick that you like grew up in this area, and now you have like your own food truck.
Yeah,
in
it's
this
so
area.
it's so cool. I love it.
And so, is there any like future things with Hapa Halo's future that people should be excited about, or any like new menu items, or maybe?
That's on the hush hush, you know.
Okay, that's on the hush hush.
Yeah, they'll know whenever I post about it.
Yeah.
You gotta keep that on wraps. You can't tell everybody about that. Then they're gonna hype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is there anything else you would like to kind of add on just to finish the whole interview?
We do change our menu kind of often. So like getting people, we do it to give the best quality possible. I know like right now the economy is pretty bad. You know, it's kind of hard to find like good quality ingredients and stuff like that. So we do like a rotating thing where we're trying to find the best possible quality to give the best possible price to people, because it's just me in this little truck. It's just like I do all the prep, I do everything. So it's just me. It's not like high labor costs or anything like that. So what I want to do is, while we're still small, is to give back until we give like to the community by keeping our menu prices as low as possible.
Yeah.
You know, but still giving them really good food. That's the goal.
This is what my friend says. Like when he eats here, he's like, like it's never like too fucking crazy where you're just spending like $30 on a food truck, and like it's filling and it's good.
Yeah, you don't want to spend too much on food. I mean, I get why other businesses are charging more. It gets expensive.
Yeah.
It does get expensive, but we really want to be able to give people a fair price. Yeah. You know, one of our goals is like price drops. We're gonna drop our prices no matter what. You know, because I know a lot of businesses are not gonna drop their prices. They're like, customers are okay paying this. We're just gonna keep it this. But we want to give everyone a really good opportunity to try Filipino food and Hawaiian food. That's the main goal of Hapa Halo, is for people to understand our culture, our food, and to really kind of crave it, you know? Like the same way people crave tacos or pho or anything like that. Those things, they're delicious, but we want to be a part of that as well.
I appreciate you being the one to do an interview.
Thank you, man. You guys want anything to eat?
Absolutely.
It's on me.
Whatever you want to make.
Cool.
Down for it. Cool. Appreciate it.
No problem, man.